Just high or just shy of the 9,000 pound mark. This is a 30 RLS Cougar here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And what you don't notice, obviously, if you really start to study the Cougar lines, what you realize is, well, it's very obvious that there's big Cougar and then there's small Cougar. And this is technically small Cougar, but it's actually a big Cougar in disguise. If you like that new 315 RLS Cougar, but it's too big, too heavy, too expensive, this is your workaround right here, guys, because it has basically the same living room. All you're really doing is exchanging an east-west bed slide for a north-south bed with a closet slide. Other than that, it's pretty much the same camper. And if you start to look at it, like if you see the chassis, the running gear, all of that, it has the same bigger chassis as a bigger Cougar, but dressed up in a smaller package. It's kind of a neat little in-betweener. Now this one is really a destination use trailer. When those slides close up, the island gets pinched together here, you're gonna lose access to the refrigerator. But that being said, you get her all opened up and it's worth the wait. As long as you know how you're packing it, guys, this is an awesome destination model. You're gonna love all the windows in here. And as we go through, I think you'll see more and more and more of what I meant when I said this is kind of like a big RV in disguise. Now, real quick, I want to mention something right offhand because I'm not in the business of getting people killed. This says Cougar half-ton on the front of it. So people always go, I mean, that's 9,000 pounds. Is that really half-ton towable? And the answer is, it really depends on your half-ton. If you have that heavy-duty, max tow and heavy payload half-ton, then yeah, it's probably half-ton towable. But that's usually not the half-ton that most people have. You know, there are so many different tow packages. Just saying, well, I've got a half-ton with a tow package. Can I tow it? I don't know. I don't know. We have to examine more facets of your vehicle. Now, something like this, you're pretty much going to be all day, every day, 3/4 ton towable. So I just want to make sure that we're always keeping safety in mind, and we're not getting too hung up on names. And, ignore the name. Look at the facts. That's what I encourage you to do. And that's, maybe that's why we sell one less fifth wheel than somebody else here at Haylett RV, but we have happy people who don't get killed and they don't burn up their vehicle and their bearings because of it. So, back to the task at hand. We've got dual opposing big slides here. Again, this is really just a 315 RLS Big Cougar in disguise. Now, there are some differences when you do go to the, quote, Cougar half-ton trim package, but the core of everything is still here. We still have the, the cool-looking ceiling accent light here with that little indirect lighting panel for night lighting. We've got great lighting throughout the whole thing, and they're still using iNCommand. So if you do want to control the lights, the slides, the heating and cooling, the awnings right from your phone, you can. Absolutely not a problem. We still have this, oversized, ridiculously big 4K HT TV over here with that extra wide electric space heating fireplace below, and that's a 5120 BTU space heater that requires no propane to operate, which is nice. Bluetooth DVD stereo above that. Now back here, there's some good stuff going on in this one, because this is obviously a couple's RV, but there's a little more than meets the eye to the seating arrangement in the 30 RLS Cougar at Haylett RV. Now, this is an excellent guest sleeping model. If you if you're like a grandpa, for instance, and you're worried about the grandkids, you don't need a bunkhouse, most likely. Very rarely do the grandkids ever come over enough to justify a bunkhouse. Instead, consider something like this. So, you are getting all of the nice living space, and the rare times, which statistically it is a rare occurrence, when the grandkiddos do come along, pop open the hide-a-bed. They'll be sitting back here in this cool sofa, or maybe if you have one of the little ones, they might just go ahead and crash on grandpa or grandma's recliner over here. And, you're directly across from the TV. There's all kinds of, all sorts of entertainment. I mean, they're just going to have a blast back here. Plus, both sides of the bed, hide-a-bed, as it were, have side stands with storage and power outlets. So it doesn't just have to be a grandpa and grandma situation. That's not the only person I think would buy this. If, you're adults and you have adult friends, or if you're, grown, mom and dad, and maybe your adult children, or you have bigger kids who are going to be out of the house soon, you could really kind of consider, you know, how much use are you going to get out of bunks versus something like this that could sleep a couple adults and maybe even plus one kid on the theater seat there. It's kind of one of those things, there's no right or wrong answer, it's just sort of what fits you better. And posing those questions, that's kind of helpful stuff we do for you here at Haylett RV. Now from here, once again, just like the Big Brother 315, we are greeted with windows, just a load of them, and the sun coming off the back of that thing is just crazy right now. Real quick, I do want to make note of the fact that this is a wall-hugging dual theater recliner with that nice little remote control storage armrest in the middle. That is just such a handy thing, and they've recently kind of just bumped up the furniture a little bit, a little more cushy, a little more padded, a little more comfortable. But again here, this is really the kicker of this floor plan, is that we have all these windows on the door side of the RV. You get to enjoy overlooking your campsite, not the neighbors. You know, you didn't book a park reservation, or you didn't go way off in the middle of nowhere to look at the guys, you know, behind you, beside you. You want to look at your campsite. Well, this is the one that lets you do that. So comfortable seating arrangement here. Now, you know, normal dining table for something in this class and category, but all the windows do have pleated shades, and all your slide windows will open for awesome, awesome airflow, by the way. I don't want to miss this. You see this little thing down here in the slide out? This is a little touch dimmer switch right here. This activates the lighting within the slide itself, so you can just turn it off and on if you want to, but it does have a dimmer feature. So in conjunction with that neat little indirect LED accent light panel above the kitchen in that little ceiling fixture, you've got some awesome little night lighting here. So once again, if you do have some littles sleeping on the guest sleeping sofa in the back here, well, you know, if maybe they're young enough that the dark kind of spooks them, especially in an area that, you know, in a camper here they're not familiar with, well, I think they're going to sleep through the night, and they're not going to bother you doing it. And if you sleep better and they sleep better, then you're going to have a better day tomorrow. This one also brings to bear not just a big living room, not just a nice guest experience, not just tons of windows, but a great kitchen. There's really just not a lot of sacrifices you need to make here. This is not a second citizen, fifth wheel. This thing, you'd be very happy with it. You've got this big open bar right when you walk in the door, and all of your countertops through here are going to be here's a good look at it, a pressed membrane, so that, water can't sink and seep into there. It's nice to, kind of keep all the drips out. Over here, the handy little, like appliance outlets. You see there's appliance outlets down low by the countertop, and also in the slide out, you've got that little breeze window there in the kitchen. There's easy appliance outlets. Plus, there are appliance outlets right on the face of this. So this is very appliance friendly. I've used the word appliance way too many times, I just realized. But, coffee makers, blenders, griddles, etc. Crazy good drawer or cabinet space down here. Especially nice, if you are going to spend extended periods in this. You want to do some traveling, but you want to pack heavy. Big pots and pans, you got all kinds of room for it. Now, I also like that they gave you a big cabinet above the countertop within the slide, but notice that between that tempered glass flush mount cover and the big chunk of countertop space here, we've got great prep space. So, I mean, there's 3 big chunks of prep area with double mega drawers going on below that counter space. So there's nothing here that's hard to get to. 8 cubic foot fridge freezer, gas electric, travel and friendly. And over here within the slide out itself, you have a big floor to ceiling dedicated pantry. And again, just like the Big Brother 315, we have adjustable, removable shelves. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but that's the thing, guys. There's more in common with the Big Brother 315 than there isn't. It's kind of like, you remember that old commercial where like, well, Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like Dr. Pepper than regular Dr. Pepper. It's just sort of one of those things. Just hopefully, wow, that came out really annoying, didn't it? I will promise I will probably never say that again. I'm not going to guarantee it, but just, I'm going to try. Anyway, open that big TV up and more storage. Because what does this RV need? More storage. And we haven't even looked at the island yet. So we talked about the countertops. We saw that, well, I guess we looked at part of it. We saw the outlets, but they're still using the nicer metallic faucets and, sprayer type material there. They're still using the stainless undersink. Just because we go from big Cougar to half ton doesn't mean they, scale down and start giving you cheap stuff. Now, there's tons of storage going on below this. You have a huge space right there for a large wastebasket, which is something I always like to have right next to the sink, whether it's my house, my camper, or whatever. More shelf space, and all three of these drawers open much, much further, basically the same depth as the island itself, but I wanted to be able to get there to take a look at those drawers. Heading upstairs, we are greeted with the iNCommand system that I've talked about like crazy a few times, and I'll try to gloss over this quickly. Please let us know if you have more questions. But long story short, this is your control panel right here, and you can sync your phone to this. So if you want to operate lights, slides, heating, cooling, you can do all of that here on your phone. Now, you don't always want to run to this panel just to turn on your ceiling lights. So there's a light switch on the right-hand side by that sofa that'll activate all the ceiling light switches. Why is it all the way back there? Because the iNCommand control panel's all the way up here. So it always has a switch closer to you, plus you could always just use your phone. And there's an additional switch for the bedroom, so to operate that separately. Now, anything that says Cougar is now 0 degree rated. That's something I really should have talked about sooner, and this is something we'll talk about more outside, but it has 12 volt heated holding tanks that you can operate right here, so any button is all right there and available for you. They're using virtually the exact same bathroom arrangement among all of their Cougars right here. So your upper deck is very hyper, consistent between them, which is good because I find that brands seem to get better quality through repetition. Huge sink, huge vanity, big shower with recessed plumbing in the floor. So you've got an easy walk-in shower, porcelain foot flush stool, and great dedicated space in the bathroom. What more do you need? Not to mention that this door, you never have to walk backwards down the steps to get in or out of the bathroom. Just simple, easy, smart. Now, this is a really important distinction right here. In a Cougar half-ton fifth wheel, it's 50 amp, and they're always going to be second AC ready. However, on these big triple slide models, like this one I said is a pretend big Cougar, we go ahead and throw the second air on these more often than not here at Haylett RV. Based on consumer demand, consumer feedback, we found that this is something that a lot of people are looking for. Not to mention the fact, guys, that there is no one too far away to do business with Haylett RV, and we work with people from Sun Country all the time. And we thought, you know what? I bet those folks are going to enjoy the fact that you have that second air conditioner already installed. Because here's the thing with it. When you get it from the factory, it's centralized, which is great, so it improves your airflow. But secondly, it is also way less expensive than adding it aftermarket. Wide open side stands here, both sides of the bed. You've got the cabinet storage below, and those are not hanging closets on each side. Those are just additional sort of dresser cabinet spaces. And before we get to your hanging storage, I want to look at something right here. This is a 60 by 80 queen. And in years past, in the smaller fifth wheel segments, you had like this 6 to 9 inch step of death at the end of the bed here. Well, when Cougar redesigned their pass-through storage, they made it bigger, and they actually went, oh, holy crap, if we do this, then we can almost completely get rid of the little step at the end of the bed. So brands like Cougar, the Eagle HT, they've done a great job of nearly eliminating that as close as you possibly can in something this size. Now, with the doors closed, you don't really see it, but in addition to all these other little updates, they have also improved the closet up here in the bedroom as well. The guys at Cougar looked at this and went, wait a minute, why do we have this really tall closet slide out? I mean, it's so tall that, you know, there's empty wasted space in it. So they said, okay, well, why don't we give people more dresser drawer space? Nobody ever gets upset about having more of dresser drawers or storage or anything like that. And when they did, it also creates a shelf at the bottom of the main closet. So they were able to really kind of expand this in a lot of cool ways and give you more storage than ever in the bedroom of this, which makes it even one step closer to a big Cougar in disguise. And of course, we still have that easy lift bed, but now it has even more storage below it, again, due to the fact that this has that reduced step up. So if the step doesn't go as high, then the bed storage goes even higher. So it's a win-win-win. Awesome. Normally I'd take the opportunity to roll both of those awnings open, because that's one of the cool things about this layout. It actually has two big power awnings. They're both easy tilt LED lighting. But we've received so many RVs today, we started running out of space, and we just kind of had to wedge it in over here. And unfortunately I can't play with the awnings currently, but don't you worry, they're awesome. If you really want to get an idea of what the patio space looks like on this, do take a quick second to look at that 315 RLS Cougar video I've referred to a few times, because you'll get a very good close approximation for what I'm saying. But you know what? No. You know, I've had a long, hard, busy day. It's all been good. It's been a lot of business. And it sure would have been easier to not move this thing and open those awnings up. But kind of like Ike Turner, guys, I'm not about doing things nice and easy. You people are about to spend a lot of money. You deserve to see this stuff. You know, that's why I put these videos together. Why am I doing videos if I'm not going to show you? So that's what we're doing here. We're taking the extra time, the extra effort. You get to see the dual power awnings on here. They're both easy tilt, like I mentioned. If you want to crank these things down for rainy day runoff, you can. So, I mean, the only potential hiccup with this model, because it is, as I'm going to describe a million times through this video, the kind of baby version of a 315 RLS Cougar. It doesn't have quite as long of an upper deck, so that means the front awning would be short. You really want and need the second awning on this, guys. I believe it's actually optional. I couldn't imagine getting this model without it. Even if you don't use the awning every single trip, you're going to be happy when you do need it, because you know, it's kind of one of those things where, can you imagine a situation where you would regret having the ability to use that second awning? Because I can't. But can you imagine a situation where you'd regret just not having the second awning? And to that I say, yeah, I can imagine that pretty darn easy. Well, with Haylett RV, you won't have to. Now, even, quote, little Cougar, all Cougars now have MORryde stable steps. So as soon as they did this, when they went to this MORryde like step generation, you could say, that is when all Cougars became 0 degree rated. It was the same time they added windshields to the travel trailers, which just look amazing. Now, this is what I was talking about inside the bedroom. You have a newer, bigger, larger, expanded pass-through compartment area right here. And again, one more thing that is very close to being almost exactly the same as its big Cougar sister, cousin, brother, whatever. Hopefully it's not all three of those things. So here's the brains for the iNCommand where all the wiring comes in. There's a little selector switch in there. If you want to manually run any awning, slide, or whatever else it controls, you can do that. Motion sense lighting. There was motion sense lighting in the hallway by the steps, by the way, so that it will kick on, you know, when you need it. It's also very handy for when you're coming and going at night, so you don't collect bugs by the trailer with bright light. And little outside TV hookups there. Now we have all LED tail and marker lights, and the tail lights are also recently updated. We'll see those as we go. Now, remember, there's some optional stuff present on this one, like you might see that second air conditioner peeking up over the top of this here. That's a non-standard piece of equipment, but again, on a big model like this, you know, with those big opposing living room slides, we're like, man, you know what? This one really feels like it needs that second air, and we have yet to have a customer really argue with us about that. They're all kind of like, oh, it's got the second air on it. Sweet. There's another. Holy cow. They just keep coming in. But as a really high volume dealer, I'm not really disappointed in that, because you know, I don't see a problem rolling in my driveway. I see a new opportunity. Painted nose cap, and that's an important thing to mention here, because Keystone in-house paints. They own their own paint shop. They don't have to outsource it. They're able to include things like paint defects within their 3-year structural warranty. And when I say sometimes that Keystone has the most comprehensive 3-year structural warranty, I would really like people to look into that, because you're going to find some of them don't even, like, you hear structural warranty, so you're like, okay, so the welds in the laminated sidewalls, those are covered, right? With a Keystone they are. With brand X, not always. So you have to really kind of dig into what that stuff means. In this category, pardon me, crap, I literally choked on my words. You'll have power front leveling jacks, power rear stabilizers. Auto leveling is available. If you like everything on this RV except you want to see one with auto leveling, give us a call. We're happy to get one quoted out for you. Or, you never know, we might have one in stock that way. It just sort of depends on what's available when it's available. Being a high volume place, sometimes we gotta take things that are equipped a little bit differently from what you might see here. So, privatized and closed docking station, and this is like step 1 of a 6 or 7 step process that they put together to turn all Cougars 0 degree rated. Previously, only big Cougar, like that middle bunkhouse that you're looking at over there, only they were 0 degree rated. So, you know, little brother Cougar half-ton series, the travel trailers and the fifth wheels, they were just, quote, extended season. They had an enclosed heated belly, and that was cool. That was neat. But Cougar said, you know what, man? We're taking it a step further. They redesigned the entire heat ducting system in the underbelly so that it trails along with the water lines. They have direct forced air heat on the holding tanks. You've already seen that it has 12-volt tank heaters. You saw the switches inside. They vented the ceiling attic, and then they added heat reflective layering through the roof, the nose, and the floor, so that this thing successfully passes 0 to 100 degree testing. Very cool. Now this bigger Cougar here, it actually has the same road armor suspension system as big Cougar, and not all Cougar half-ton fifth wheels have that feature. So once again, it's got that bigger chassis. They gave it the bigger suspension. Now the tail lights here, I told you there's an update. You see the white section. This has reverse travel lighting on it, so that if you are backing into a site at night or early morning, you can see what you're doing. Now the little receiver hitch down here in the bottom. Talked all about their 3-year structural warranty. Well, you certainly don't want to throw that away, do you? Well, unfortunately, if you want to bring even a simple bike rack with you, a lot of brands will make you void that. Not a Keystone. They make sure that you get to enjoy your RV and, you know, with peace of mind. They're not worried about it. Now, Cougar is hands down the single most carbon copied fifth wheel out there on the market. I mean, it's crazy. Some of these things, it's just like looking at a reflection of a Cougar, you know? Well, when you run an original document through a copy machine, you get a functional copy, but it's missing the fine details, isn't it? And that's kind of what I wanted to point out here. Some of the fine details. Not just a walkable roof, but walkable slide boxes also. Maybe other RVs have it. I know Cougars do, but I never really hear other RVs talking about it. And I think that if they're not willing to talk about it, there's probably an above average chance it's not there. So all the windows here are going to open for just awesome, awesome airflow. Oh, my voice is betraying me. I've been doing many, many hours of video every day right now. So our slide seals here, we have seal gripping, leak preventing slide walls, and there are always 3 seals in contact with a Cougar slide anytime it is fully opened or closed. You have 2 wipers and then an interior or exterior depending on the slide's open or closed. Then down here, that little trim at the bottom of this thing, it has an inversion channel on it so that if water runs down the slide wall, it'll hit that, and when it hits that inversion, it'll drip instead of wick and walk into the subfloor. Just smarter things. Now, we talked about them when we kind of opened our exterior tour here, but the nicer, newer MORryde steps here, and those adjustable foot pegs, these things are just the best, and they marry up to just about any campsite. And when people come and go, even bigger folks like me, the RV doesn't seem to rock and roll even without the stabilizer jacks down. Now, neat little note, this little micro diamond quilted, you know, lower stone guard diamond plate stuff here, that's actually the exact same thing they use on the refrigerator inserts inside. They just kind of tossed one on there one day and went, wait a minute, that looks kind of cool, and I like it because it's kind of an interior-exterior tie-in. It's a nice little nod, and it's got a very cohesive look, feel, and finish to it. So, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, or everything in between, we do it all at Haylett RV. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.